Today we are going to do some packet work for the lessons that we did on the computer yesterday. So we worked with Desmos, you had some points and you had to find a parabola that fit with that. So we are going to do the front page of 7.7. You guys can cross out the back page. And then we're going to do the front page of 7.8 and you guys can once again cross out the back page for that. I'll let you know where we're going with these videos, and as long as you follow along, you guys will be just fine. So 7.7, classwork 7.7. We discovered that quadratic equations are parabolas when graphed. Today we're going to further our investigation with quadratic functions and learn how changes to the equation affect the shape. So complete the tables below for each of the equations, then plot and connect the points. Label each graph with its equation. So what I would recommend you guys doing with these tables is putting them into your calculator so then you can take a look at them. If you want to do them by hand, you totally can, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to do them in the calculator. So the first thing we want to do is you want to reset your calculator. So don't forget how to do that. It's second plus 712. Second plus 712. Then when you've done that, go ahead and hit y equals in the very top left. You're then going to type in your equation. So remember the X is next to the green button. So this, you're going to hit the X, and then you're going to hit the squared button, and the squared is right next to the sign. I'm sorry, it's right next to the comma. So X squared. And if you want to see the graph on this one, go ahead and hit graph in the top right corner. That'll show you a picture of the graph. But we want to see the table, and table's in blue, so we're going to hit second graph, and that'll bring us up to the table. So go ahead, we want to start with -2. So if we go down to -2, it looks like that's going to be 4. And go ahead and fill in what that would be on your paper. 4, 1, 0, 4, and 9. We want to graph that equation. So we're going to plot -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up on my table, didn't I? Okay, so this is going to be a 1, and this is going to be a 4. So 1, 1, and 2, 4. And go ahead and graph that parabola. We're also going to label that as our y1. Okay. Just ignore, when you're graphing these, just ignore the 1, 2, and 3 right now. All this means is y1. So this is my first equation. Y2, this is my second equation. Y3, that's my third equation. So it's not y squared and y to the third power, because then it would be up to the top. So just ignore that. That's how we're going to label and say that they're different equations. This is my first equation, my second equation, my third equation. All right, next one, we want to look at y2. So go ahead and bring your calculators back. Go ahead and hit the y equals. And then we're going to clear it. So we've got the clear button right here. Clear that, and we want to type in 2x squared. Okay, so 2x squared. Go ahead and check the table out. So press second graph. And now we have the table for this one. Once again, we're going to start at -2. So our first value is going to be 8. So 8, 2, 0, 2, and 8. Plotting those, -2, 8. It's a little bit off the graph, but that's okay. -1, 2. 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 8. So that parabola is going to look just a little bit skinnier, a little bit narrower than our first one. That's going to be my y2. So that's my y2. And the third one, go ahead and plug that into your calculator. I'm not going to do it, but I want you to plug that into your calculator. And you will get values of 4, 1/2, or 0.5, 0, 1/2, and 2. And I just made another mistake. I'm so sorry, guys. 2. There we go. So those should be the values that you have. All right, and once again, we're going to plot these. So negative 2 comma 2, negative 1, 1/2, 0, 0, 1, 1/2, and positive 2 comma 2. And this one is going to be a lot wider. And that's my y3. All right, so compare the equations of the parabolas. What are the similarities? What are the differences? So go ahead and give me one similarity with the equations. So we're looking at just equations now. Okay, and so they're all y equals x squared. That'd be a similarity. And a difference is there's a number in front of x. Okay. Letter B, so compare the tables. So now we're looking at the tables. And you're going to tell me a similarity and a difference with them. So a similarity is they all have the point 0, 0. And a difference is that it can be all the other numbers are different. So they've got all other different values. And last one for C with the graph. Tell me a similarity, tell me a difference. Once again, you could have a lot more than just what I have. So similarity would be like the vertex is the same. And so they're all on 0, 0. We could say they all open up. And difference is their width. So some are wider than others. So if you remember from yesterday, remember that if you use a whole number, you get a narrower graph. And if you use a fraction, you're going to get a wider graph. So remember that number in front of the x squared controls how wide it's going to be. Based on your observations of quadratics, this is letter D, make a sketch of negative 2x squared and negative 1/2 x squared. And do you guys remember what the negative does? The negative flips the fraction, or flips the parabola. So my y3 was this wide parabola. Now it's going to be a wide parabola down below. Okay, so that's y4, that's this negative 1/2 x squared that I just graphed there. And then the negative 2x squared is going to look like y2, but be flipped. It's going to be this really narrow graph. And that's going to be what those two look like for D. So y3 is that skinny, narrow, upside down one. y4 is the wider one. So remember, fraction makes it wider, and a number makes it more narrow. All right, go ahead and go on to question 2 on this front side of 7.7.